President. When we left off for the break, I was in the middle of addressing documents that are relevant to Nuon Chea's role and responsibility for matters of the military and security. And continuing in that part of the presentation, I had one more excerpt to read from the book by Tet Sambat, E152.2. And this excerpt is at Khmer 00858336 through 37, English 00757530, and French 00849433. And at this passage, Nuon Chea seeks to provide an explanation or justification for the purges. The statement reads as follows, quote, "We never accused any top leader without evidence and witnesses," Nuon Chea said. "We knew clearly about their behavior and plans to topple the regime and kill innocent people in the provinces without the center's orders and knowledge. Pol Pot had evidence and witnesses, so he decided to arrest them. I have no regrets, because when I read the confessions, it was very clear what they were doing." And Nuon Chea also admits his receipt of confessions in this recorded excerpt from one of his interviews with Tet Sambat. And Mr. President, I would now like to play clip number 7. Clip number 7. This is a document E93/7.3R V00717-048. It is an interview by Tet Sambat entitled Nuon Chea on Confessions. Mr. President, with your leave, if we could have the AV booth please play clip number 7 titled Confessions.
President, yes, you may do so. AV unit, please play clip number 7 on the screen as requested by the prosecution.
Nhiều sáng cũngថាតែងតែអានរបាយការណ៍សេចក្តីសារភាពហ្នឹងបាទរបស់ស21ដើម្បីយកហ្នឹងទៅអប់រំកម្មាភិបាលដើម្បីកុំឲ្យទទួលតាមបាទតើសូមបញ្ជាក់ទីតើហាត់កណ្ដាលបញ្ជាក់តើបានអានរបាយការណ៍នេះយ៉ាងម៉េចហើយតើយកអប់រំកម្មាភិបាលថ្នាក់ក្រោមយ៉ាងណាបាទរបាយការណ៍នេះក៏ដើម្បីខ្ញុំតែបានមើលទាំងអស់ទេពីព្រោះវាច្រើនពេកហើយមិនមែនជាភារកិច្ចរបស់ខ្ញុំមើលណាតែការអប់រំក៏យកស្នៀតគេឧបាយកលវិញយ៉ាងម៉េចណាយកទៅអប់រំឲ្យដឹងទេឧបាយកលស្អីដែលជាគ្រោះថ្នាក់ដល់យើងគឺបញ្ហាស្រីស្រាអំណាចអញ្ញាយនេះមនុស្សយើងទៅប្រើអានឹងច្រើនពេកទៅវាឃ្លាតឆ្ងាយពីបាក់ណាវាឃ្លាតឆ្ងាយពីមេគាចាត់តាំងរបស់បាក់ឃ្លាតឆ្ងាយពីទេសនៈរបស់បាក់ជាពិសេសស្រីស្រាក្នុងសង្គមហ្នឹងវាអាក្រក់ណាលុយកាក់ស្រីស្រាលបែងស៊ីសងនេះលបែងស៊ីសងជាណាមិនសូវប្រមាណទេប៉ិនលុយកាក់អីនេះពីណាខ្លួនឯងមិនធ្វើមិនប្រពន្ធធ្វើអានឹងគឺយកអញ្ចឹងណាទៅអប់រំឲ្យយល់សំខាន់វាវាយយើងខាងសម្ភារៈវាខ្មាំងវាវាយយើងខាងសម្ភារៈជាណាមិនខ្មាំងដែរតែគ្នាឯងហ្នឹង
Your Honors, Noon Chea's admission in this video-recorded interview that he received many confessions is confirmed by the S-21 documents themselves. And I would like now to present a group of S-21 confessions that bear annotations indicating that copies were provided to Noon Chea. And we will show the relevant Khmer pages as we go along in this list. The first is document E3/1565. E3/1565. If we could show that on the screen, the relevant Khmer page 00017305, English 00822048, French 00825431. This is the confession of Kung Keen. In the top right part of this document is an annotation sent to Brother Nguyen. And I will come back to this confession later to discuss some other aspects of the annotations in more detail. The next document is E3/1706. E3/1706. Excuse me one instant, Mr. President. Pardon us. We'll go to the correct file here. In the meantime, the next confession is E3/1706, which is Kek Bin alias Su. And the relevant ERN is Khmer 00174021, English 00224632, and French 00785267. And if we can show this on the screen, this is the confession of the head of the liaison committee with Thailand, dated the 21st of July, 1977. And in the middle left section that is boxed, there is comments addressed to respected brother and an annotation that reads, quote, Brother Nguyen has already received one copy. Next is E3/1828. E3/1828, the S-21 confession of Tuip Son. And the relevant ERN, Khmer 00000881, English 00662328, French 00766068. And if we show that on the screen, you will see in the upper right corner there is an annotation that reads, Send to Brother Nguyen, and this is on the August 1977 confession of this North Zone cadre. Next is E3/3697. E3/3697. The relevant ERNs are Khmer 00175293, French 00289872, English 00822359. And this is the confession of a battalion commander and Deputy Secretary of Division 164, Kun Dim, who we saw in some earlier documents today. And this confession has a detailed note by Son Sen on the need to contact the East Zone and Division 164 leaders regarding measures to take. And an annotation that you'll see on the left side at the bottom part of that annotation, which reads, "One copy sent to Brother Nguyen on 10 September 1977. Next document is E3/1842. This is the S-21 confession of Hem Sot at Khmer 00017272, English 00662317, French 00766911. And looking at this, the cover page of this confession, on the upper left side, if we look at the confession page, you will see a handwritten annotation dated the 25th of October, 1977, that states, "Send Brother Nguyen one copy." This is a confession of a cadre who was the Central Zone Chairman of Industry. Next, document E3/3665 at Khmer 00174111, English 00224634, French 00386361. This is the confession of Peng Sun, alias Che. And on the upper left, you will see a handwritten annotation dated the 25th of October, 1977, that reads, quote, "A copy has already been submitted to Brother Nguyen." And this is the confession of the Central Zone Commerce Chief. Next, E3/2129, the confession of Chum Pen, and at Khmer 00017413, English 00769567, French 00343744. If we look at this page, on the screen, you will see a annotation on the upper right side of the document, dated the 9th of November, 1977, that states, "Sent 2 copies to Brother Nguyen, not yet read." This is a confession of a new person from Preanet Pre district in the Northwest Zone. And next, E3/1889, the confession of Sao Tong Li at Khmer 00017492, English 00796688, French 00763394. And on this document, you will see an annotation in the middle right, dated November 9, 1977, that reads, "2 copies have been sent to Brother Nguyen." This is a confession of another new person from Sector 4 of the Northwest Zone. Next, E3/1875. This is the confession of Pech Che, the chief of the handicraft team in Siem Reap. And at Khmer 00017468, English 00748373, French 00766072. You will see an annotation in the middle of the page dated the 9th of November 1977. The first line reads, 2 copies to Brother Nguyen. The next line reads, related to both the Northwest Zone and Sector 106. Next document is E3/1894. This is the confession of Singh Pui, alias Sean. And this is the confession of a company chief from Sector 4. At Khmer 00005357, English 00702082, French 00747299. If we go back to that, you'll see on the upper right an annotation dated the 9th of November 1977 that reads, send to Brother Nguyen 2 copies. Next, document E3/1879, the S21 confession of Porn Phal, the chairman of a brick factory in the Ministry of Industry. And the relevant ERN, Khmer 00005192, English 00182725, and French 00796697. If we look at this page, we will see in the middle an annotation dated the 11th of November 1977 that states, sent Brother Nguyen 1 copy. Next, E3/1537, the confession of Tiv Mai at Khmer 00174754, English 00224639, French 00271459. This is a confession of a new person from the Central Zone who worked in the Lon Nol regime. And this confession contains an annotation, if we look at the document in the upper left, which states 1 copy has been submitted to Brother Nguyen. Document E3/1688 is the confession of Chap Mit, who was the secretary of Kasach Kandal district in Sector 22 of the East Zone. And the relevant page is Khmer 00226401, English 00284069, and French 00294523. And we will see on this document, on the bottom half of the page, a note written by Dooch. And if I may, if we can show that on the screen, I would like to read the second point in Dooch's note. On this confession, Dooch writes, in the boxed area you see, number 2, withdraw the name of Brother Chin, Region 22, Brother Mon, and Brother So. In principle, Brother number 2 has advised on the 25th of February 1978 that the names of Brother So, Region 23, Brother Mon, Sector 203, Sot, Region 21, Chin, Region 22, Tat and Sok, Division 170, and Tal, Division 290, must be withdrawn if they appear in this confession. Your Honor, we submit these groups of confessions in order to show that Nuon Chea's role in relation to security matters is confirmed not only by his statements that you've heard, but also by the actual documents that record his name and his receipt of confessions from S21. There is another group of 13 S21 confessions that is listed in the list that was provided by the co-prosecutors by our office last night. I will not go through in detail these 13 documents, but we'll discuss them together because they are related. These are documents on the list that was provided, documents 69 through 81. And these 13 confessions, Your Honors, are all from the same time period, and they are all confessions of cadres from the same military division in the Central Zone, Division 174. And indeed, most are from one regiment in that division, Regiment 601. All 13 of these confessions were prepared at S21 in late October or early 1977. And if we can just go through and show the cover pages for the first 5 of these confessions. The first 5 of the 13 do not have dates indicating the specific date on which the confession was sent to Nuon Chea. They merely have dates, the dates of the confession. These 5 confessions, we can proceed to show them on the screen. First is E3/1882, Confession of Chap Vun. E3/3689, the Confession of Lun N. E3/1831, Confession of Chea Sreng. E3/1839, the Confession of D. Lang. And E3/1841, the Confession of M. Chea, each of which has an annotation stating that a copy was sent to Brother Nuon. And the next 8 confessions that are on our list, numbers 74 through 81 on the list we sent yesterday, have dates, indicate the date on which the confession was forwarded to Brother Nuon. The first of the 8 was sent on the 10th of November, 1977. If we look at that one, that is document E3/3645. E3/3645, the Confession of Mao Chun. The other 7, Your Honor, 7 confessions, all of them were sent to Nuon Chea on the same day, the 11th of November, 1977. All of them are cadres from the same division and mostly the same regiment in the Central Zone. The 7 confessions are E3/1687, if you can show these as we go along, which is Chut Ne. E3/1764, the Confession of An Khan. E3/1843, the Confession of Hung Bao. And if we can show these on the screen as we go along. E3 E3/1869, the confession of Num Sim. E3/1886, the confession of Sak Man. E3/1826, the confession of Tang On. And the last in the group is E3/3648, the confession of Sing Pon. And if we stop and look at this last confession, E3/3648, at Khmer page 00173881, the other confessions all essentially use the same language, copies submitted to Brother Nguyen. This one states, one copy for Brother Nguyen to deliver to the Central Zone. End of quote. Your Honors, we present this group of 13 confessions, all from one military unit in the Central Zone, as particularly important to show that Nuon Chea had a role relating to the military and relating to the purge of this unit. In the statements he provided to Tet Sembat in his book, going back again to E152.2, and the reference that I would like to go to at this time is at Khmer 00858358 through 59, English 00757537, and French ERN 00849448. In this passage, Nuon Chea himself describes putting annotations on confessions he received. And the section reads as follows, quote, Nuon Chea said that when he read confessions, he found the crimes that some of the prisoners were accused of were benign. He said some people were not guilty of anything, but they had walked somewhere, wore something, or ate something without permission. Or they were arrested just because another prisoner had accused them of wrongdoing without proof. Attributing a quote here to Nuon Chea, a specific quote, quote, they normally confessed when they were beaten painfully and seriously tortured, Nuon Chea said. This confession could not be valid and usable, so they must be released. Some of the accused were very young. End of quote, attributed to Nuon Chea. The book continues. Nuon Chea said, when he read these confessions, he made marks on the documents with a red pen to show they were invalid and that the prisoner was not guilty. End of quote. And Your Honors, the next group of documents I will present are 6 S-21 confessions or other security-related documents that have been identified by S-21 Chairman Deutsch as bearing Nuon Chea's handwriting. As we will see on these documents, where we have color copies, some of that handwriting indeed is in red. Contrary to what was told to Tet Sambat in the statement I just read, we will see that these handwritten notes do not direct the release of any prisoners. Let me turn to these documents. And I will first start by going back to the first confession in the initial series. This is confession E3/1565, and it is the first slide in this part of the document presentation. E3/1565, same page I've read before, Khmer 00017305. And if we can show this on the screen, this is a particularly significant confession as we look at it here, because it bears the handwriting of the three key protagonists responsible for S21, Duch, Son Sen, and Nuon Chea. On this confession, we see on the bottom half a 21 May 1977 note from Deutsch to respected brother. That is on the bottom part. And then in the top part of the document, there is an annotation written across the top dated the 23rd of May 1977, part of which states, sent to Brother Nuon personally or directly. If we go to the next slide, we focus in on the top part of the document. And you will see the handwriting that has been identified by Deutsch as Son Sen's is the one that is on the right side and part of the left side. And there is a third person's handwriting that can be seen on the upper left side in bigger characters, which reads, quote, excerpts sent to Comrade Mock. And it is this handwriting that has been identified by Duch as Nuon Chea's. And if we go to the next slide, that handwriting has been isolated so that we can see the particular handwriting of Nuon Chea identified by Deutsch on this confession. The next slide shows document E3/175, which is a letter, a 17 April 1978 letter from the North Zone Secretary, Sai, forwarding, which we have seen and talked about before, forwarding two confessions to Committee 870 to serve as documents for researching embedded traitorous networks burrowing from within. And in this color copy, if we go back to the document on the screen, you will see an annotation written in red on the left side of the letter, which states, follow up. This handwriting has been identified by Deutsch as Nuon Chea's handwriting. And if we go to the next slide, you will see the red handwriting from the second document next to the other handwriting identified as Nuon Chea's. The next slide is the third document that has been identified as containing Nuon Chea's handwriting, the S21 confession of Ministry of Social Affairs cadre Mok Sam Ol, E3/1546. And if we look at the screen at this document, we can see that the relevant annotation is again in red. And if we go to the next slide, we focus in on that part of the document. The handwriting in red annotation reads, quote, Ministry of Social Affairs, it has already been resolved, end of quote. And in the next slide, you can see the handwriting from this document compared to the prior two. The next slide is the S21 confession of San Pao, a Ministry of Foreign Affairs cadre from the state market. It is document E3/1548, E3/1548. And if we look at the screen, there is a red annotation in the upper left-hand corner of this document, if we can show it on the screen. The annotation in red on this document states, or in the upper left-hand corner, states Comrade Van, a reference to the alias of Ministry of Foreign Affairs Secretary Ing Suri. This handwriting has also been identified by Deutsch as Nuon Chea's. And in the next slide, you can compare the handwriting to the other three documents. The next slide is the S-21 confession of Meek Touche, who was the DK ambassador to Laos. It is document E3/1547. And if we focus on the top part of this document in the next slide, the handwriting that appears in the upper left corner states Comrade Van, same as the prior document, and it has also been identified by Deutsch as Nuon Chea's writing. In the next slide, you will see all 5 of these annotations together. And the next slide is the 6th and last document in this series, which is E3/1098, E3/1098. It is a letter dated the 26th of March, 1978, that was written by the West Zone Deputy Secretary, Paul, regarding the arrest and transfer to Phnom Penh of the wife of purged West Zone Secretary Chu Chet, alias C, whose wife was the secretary of Udong District. The letter reads, quote, "To respected and beloved Ankar, we would like to send Lee Neary, spouse of C, via K7. Please, Ankar, seize this person. Next, we will send you Mool," referring to the Deputy Secretary of Udong District. And if you look at the left side, there is a annotation in red on the upper left that has been identified by Deutsch as Nuon Chea's handwriting, which states S-21. And in our last slide in this series, you will see this annotation compared to the other 5 that have been identified as Nuon Chea's handwriting. Your Honors, I have a couple more, one document that I would like to go back to at this time. Before I do that, let me just briefly note here. We have previously presented to this court statements by Ing Suri in various interviews and documents in which he states that Nuon Chea was a member of the party's military or security committee. And as we presented these before, I will not read them again, read the contents again, but I do wish to note for the record the identity of the 3 documents in which Ing Suri states that Nuon Chea was a member of the party's military committee. First is E3/94, an interview of Ing Suri conducted on the 22nd of July, 1981 at Khmer 00578895, English 00342501 through 02, French 00602000. The second document, E3/93, an interview of Ing Suri that was conducted on the 28th of August, 1996 at Khmer 00224443, English 00078610, French 00347376, and the third document from Ing Suri indicating that Nuon Chea was on the military committee is E3/86, the statement I presented earlier today from Ing Suri's DNUM group on the 8th of September 1996. And the passage in that document can be found at English 0008 1215, Khmer 00224430, and French 00614094. And at this point, I want to go back to a document that I...
The President, Mr. Co-Prosecutor, could you please hold on, and Counsel Kope, you may now proceed.
Thank you, Mr. President. My client is listening this moment to the presentation of key documents by the prosecutor. And I think it would be good if those three passages from Ing Suri's interview will be read to him. It might be that they were earlier read during the absence of my client. I'm not quite sure about that, but nevertheless, we are not short of time, so I would like to ask the prosecutor to read those three passages that he's just been referring
to. Mr. President, I'm happy to do that. I may have to do it from the computer screen, so if I can have just 30 seconds just to pull the document up, and then I'm happy to oblige counsel and read those passages. If I can have one moment. I'm ready. I'll try my best to read from the computer screen. E3, I won't repeat the ERN numbers, but I will. The first document was E394, which was the interview of Ing Suri conducted on 22 July 1981. And in this interview, Ing Suri made the following statement in response to certain questions. Quote, question, who was in charge of security? Answer, 3 or 4 very top leaders discussed the matter, then reported to the standing committee. Question, who were those 3 or 4 leaders? Answer, Pol Pot, Noon Chea, Sao Pim, and Son Sen. Son Sen was in charge of security. They relied on regional people for reporting on security. The second document Mr. President, the second document was E3/93. This was an interview of Ing Suri conducted on the 28th of August, 1996. And in this interview, Ing Suri made the following statement. Quote, I am not the right hand of Pol Pot. Obviously, the main right-hand man is Noon Chea. And there was a committee which considered all questions about security, which comprised 4 people, Pol Pot, Noon Chea, Son Sen, and Son Sen's advisor, Yun Yat. End of quote. And the third document is the statement that was issued by Ing Suri's group, DNUM, on the 8th of September 1996, which contains the following statement. Quote, the government was only a screen to hide Pol Pot's personal dictatorship, firmly based on the secret security committee composed of Noon Chea, Son Sen, alias Q, and Son Sen's advisor, his wife Yun Yat, alias At. From 1975 to 1978, it was this gang of four, Pol Pot, Nuon Chea, Son Sen, Yun Yat, who decided the killings and massacres. End of quote. Mr. President, at this time, I'd like to return earlier today in the group of documents in which Nuon Chea is identified as acting Prime Minister. One of them, E3/147, E3/147, the pages that were identified earlier, is the FIBIS report of a radio broadcast in which Nuon Chea made a speech to a gathering of the Revolutionary Army of Cambodia at a commemoration of its 9th anniversary on the 16th of January, 1977. And this document is quite significant as it is the radio broadcast, as is indicated at the very start, was just of excerpts of the speech by Nuon Chea. The full speech can be found in the revolutionary flag for December 1976 to January 1977, which is document E3/25. E3/25. And in this document, you will find the entire speech in an issue that was released just for the party members. And in E3/25, that speech, which is titled "The Presentation of the Comrade Party Representative on the occasion of the 9th anniversary of the founding of the brave, strong, skilled, and magnificent Revolutionary Army of Cambodia." That speech starts at, for the record, starts at Khmer 0006-3014, French 00504027, and English 00491406. In the Revolutionary Flag issue, Nuon Chea is not identified by name. He is identified by name in the radio broadcast of excerpts of the speech. So I wish to quickly touch upon a comparison of the two documents so that the court can see how it is evident that the speech on the radio in E3/147 made by Nuon Chea is the same speech that appears in the Revolutionary Flag E3/25. And the best way to show that, well, the court itself will be able to follow along the two speeches and see how they track. But to give you just two examples of that, at the outset of the speech, and I will first read from the radio broadcast, that is, in which Nuon Chea is identified by name. And at the very start of the speech, Nuon Chea makes 2 points. And this is at the very outset. You will find this in E3/147 at Khmer 00679793, English 00168465, French 00698444. And The first point reads, "The first point is that the anniversary of our Revolutionary Army reminds us of its great sense of heroism. At this moment, we think with profound emotion and revolutionary sentiment of our comrades in arms." And then continuing to the next paragraph, "The second point is that we should be greatly pleased about our formerly empty-handed Army's present condition. We should have great pleasure at the thought that never before have we had such an army as the present Revolutionary Army." And to compare that, if you look at the start of the speech in Revolutionary Flag, and here, this is document E325, I would refer you to pages Khmer 0006, 3016, English 0049, 1407 through 08, and French 00504028 through 29. And you will see here the exact same content. The speech starts by making two impressions. Quote, "Our first impression is that the 9th anniversary of the founding of our Army leads us to think about the high and lofty heroism of the Revolutionary Army." And then continuing to the second point, "Our second impression on this occasion is that all of us, when we think of our Revolutionary Army that was built with our bare hands up until today, we are all happy and unimaginably satisfied because originally we never had an army." And you can follow through the speech that was broadcast on the radio with the speech in the Revolutionary Flag and see how they match up. Let me give one more quick example for the court's reference. In the radio broadcast of Nuon Chea's speech, E3-147, at page Khmer 00679796, English 00168467, French 00698446. There is a paragraph that reads as follows. The start of the armed struggle on 17 January 1968 was not accidental. Since 1960, our Cambodian revolutionary organization had drawn up the strategic and tactical lines, and it then continues on to explain those. You will find the corresponding part of the speech in Revolutionary Flag at Khmer 00063023, English 00491412, and French 00504033. And that paragraph starts off, "Next, I wish to inform you that opening fire on 17 January 1968 was not an accident." And then it goes on to discuss the strategic lines of the party in 1960. I make these references to your honors as simply as it is important to see the relationship between these two documents. And I will note just one significant part from the speech. There's quite a few parts. It is a long speech in which Nuon Chea covers the history of the military and the party lines. There is much information in there, but one of the most significant parts of the speech can be seen in the Revolutionary Flag publication, E325, at pages Khmer 0006 3039 through 41, English 00491424, and French 00504049. And this is a document that the court may recall from near the start of the trial, as it is quite important. This is a section where Nuon Chea discusses the strategy, the military strategy of seizing or controlling the people. Let me just read a couple of short excerpts. Quote, "We seize victory by implementing these combat lines correctly. A, attacking the enemy politically. Taking just one example, fighting to seize the people. Throughout the world, they never fought to seize the people. Our line was to fight to seize the people. 1, we took him. 2, we took them. 100, we took them. 1,000, we took them, and so on, until we fought for and seized the people from Phnom Penh too. The line of drying up the people from the enemy was very correct." Continuing in the next paragraph. An example, the fighting in Banam in 1973. "We took everyone in Banam town, expelling the ethnic Vietnamese, the ethnic Chinese, the military, the police. We took everyone, drying up the people from the enemy." And two paragraphs below this, quote, "We liberated Udong in 1974. We pulled out all the people. When they took it back, they had no forces." In the next paragraph, quote, "This is a very important strategic line. Control the people and seize the people." End of quote. Your Honors, while Nuon Chea opened up and made significant admissions to Tet Sambat in their interviews, which you have seen today, while he made admissions to Tet Sambat regarding his knowledge and responsibility for events during the regime, he also made it clear to Tet Sambat that he did not intend to be as forthcoming with this court. And I would like to read an excerpt from E152.2 at Khmer 00858404, English 00757560, and French 00849479, which reads, in which the following statement is attributed to Nuon Chea. Quote, "If they ask me in court who killed the people, I will say I was in charge of the legislative body and education. So the killing was the problem of government administration, which was the responsibility of Pol Pot and Son Sen," he said. And continuing the quote attributed to Nuon Chea, quote, "If they still ask, then I will tell them it started with Kissinger." End of quote. We have seen this at various points from Nuon Chea, including his initial appearances at this court, the documents that my colleague read to you this morning. And I will close my presentation, Your Honors, with one more video clip. This is for the AV booth, this is clip number 10. We will skip 8 and 9. This will be clip number 10. and it is document E93/7.3R, case file B00717048. It is interview by Tet Sambat entitled Noon Chea on the Nation. And Mr. President, with your leave, if the AV booth could please play clip number 10, which is titled No Regrets.
President, yes, you may proceed. AV unit, please play the video clip number 10 as requested by the prosecution.
Bố tục phụ nữa bắtประเทศជាតិbắtประชาชนស្លាប់ប្រជាជនbắtប្រទេសកម្ពុជាគ្មានកម្ពុជាសល់ដល់ឡើយទេបោះទុកពួកនឹងអានឹងសំឡេងទៀតផ្ទាល់ខ្លួនណាវតែតែមានមនោសញ្ញនាខ្លះក៏ប៉ុន្តែខ្ញុំបែងចែកផ្ទាល់ខ្លួនហើយនឹងរួមច្បាស់បើរួមយើងយកផ្ទាល់ខ្លួនជាមនោសញ្ញនាធ្លាប់រាប់អានគ្នាធ្លាប់អីគ្នាហើយអានេះជាតិតែមូលទៅយកពីណាខ្ញុំយកជាតិណាហើយផ្ទាល់ខ្លួនទុកឯឡៃសិនដោះស្រាយសិនទៅ
ចឹងអង្គមានការសោកស្ដាយចំពោះពួកនោះទេបាទ
ខ្ញុំដូចគ្មានការសោកស្ដាយទេខ្ញុំសោកស្ដាយជាតិខ្ញុំជាងជាតិខ្ញុំប្រឡាក់ប្រឡូសអញ្ចឹងទៅហើយខ្ញុំសោកស្ដាយជាងស្ដាយមេគាស្ដាយគោជំហររបស់កម្ពុជាប្រជាធិបតេយ្យខ្ញុំស្ដាយហើយពួកនឹងមកធ្វើគាត់
Your Honors, that ends our presentation on the role of the accused Noon Chea. We finished early today, but we thank you for the opportunity to present these documents.
President, thank you, Mr. Prosecutor, for the presentation on key documents and that you finished even before the time allocated to you. Today, proceeding has come to an end. We will adjourn today's proceeding today, and we will resume on Monday, the 1st of July, commencing from 9 a.m. And for Monday, we will continue our evidentiary hearing by hearing the testimony of TCW 505. This information is for all the parties, the support staff, and the general public. Court officer, security officer, rather, you are instructed to take the two accused back to the detention facility and have them returned to the courtroom on Monday, the 1st of July 2013. As for Noon Chea, take him to the holding cell downstairs, which is equipped with audio-visual means for him to follow the proceeding remotely. The court is now adjourned.
សូមអញ្ជើញក្រោយឈរ